I wrote this article in 2014 talking about the era of unlimited clean energy by 2030. I was ridiculed. I've been a columnist for the Washington Post, globally syndicated and all that. This got global attention, and I was ridiculed by the energy industry. Guess what? If you go and read this article, and if you read my other articles, you'll find that things are happening faster than I thought, not slower. We're headed to an era of unlimited and almost free clean energy in this decade. What do I mean by free clean energy? Just as this video call is free. Yes, you may be paying some subscription fees to be part of it, but the fact is that the cost of the delivery is zero. That is what solar is going to be like in this decade. And this is why I'm excited about the advances that are possible. Transportation, well, guess what? Cars and computers are becoming one. I drive a Tesla. When I get onto Route 280, which is down the road from where I live, I put the car into autopilot and it drives itself. Within this year, the economics will flip. All of these fossil fuel consuming cars will become toast. And it will make economical sense to take your old junk and throw it away and to recycle it into self-driving electric cars, because the economics will just make so much sense that fossil fuels won't make sense anymore. Imagine the disruptions that are going to happen when this happens faster than anyone believes. It's going to happen, my friends. And then solving the grand challenges of humanity. I mean, disease, hunger, poverty, education, clean water. Where I live in Silicon Valley, we buy bottled water for $1 a bottle, $2 a bottle. It's more expensive than petroleum is. In the developing world, people are dying because of this. Well, guess what? One of the companies I've been mentoring for the last decade is about to solve this problem. There have been no real innovations in water. Watch this video from one of the greatest inventors of our time, Alfredo Zolezzi, who you'll see in the next video, is both an Einstein and an Edison. An Einstein in genius, and Edison in invention. And the reason why I don't call him an Edison is because Edison was a cutthroat businessman. Einstein is a good human being who's looking to solve the problem of humanity. But watch what he developed, over the last 7 years or so.
The system works by compressing contaminated water and then feeding it into a chamber, where a quick change in pressure and exposure to an electrical field converts it into a plasma, a state of matter similar to gas. In a plasma state, the water is ionized, killing 100% of the bacteria and microbes it carried. According to Alfredo Zolezzi, a scientist at the center, the system can purify 35 liters of water in just 5 minutes, using the same amount of energy that it takes to run a light bulb.
Alfredo built this technology with a team of about a dozen people or so in Santiago, Chile. Of all the places in the world, since in Chile, he built this technology. What you saw there now looks like this. This can do 10 liters a minute. What does these devices cost? A few $1,000s. They can be powered by solar panels. 2 solar panels, a $5,000, $10,000 device. And now you can have clean water for an entire village. When I say clean water, I'm talking about 100% clean water, not this bullshit you have with UV and with these filters and membranes and all of that. You still have 1 or 2% impurities getting in there. And all it takes is 1 or 2% impurities in your water to make you sick. When I go to India, despite the fact that they have these RO units all over the place, I get sick every time because that is primitive, ancient technology. This technology, 100% sanitation. So, so Alfredo had to solve one problem. And this is another lesson for you, that innovation happens in strange ways. So during the pandemic, some major deals that Alfredo had to take this global fell apart. And Alfredo was worried about the company. He went back to basics and he said, okay, I'm converting water into plasma. What else can I do with this? And he discovered that he could almost do some magic with it, because what he discovered was that he could replicate the same mechanism that nature uses to fertilize the ground. How does nature fertilize this planet? Through lightning. Lightning is plasma, the fourth state of matter. When lightning hits the ground, there's air, which has nitrogen, and then there's water in the form of rain. And that water has hydrogen peroxide in it, and it has all sorts of nutrients in it, which nourish the ground. He found that his technology could now nourish the ground. And what's more, that it can eliminate the use of pesticides and fertilizer. I'm working with Alfredo right now to take this global, but his same devices now could launch the next green revolution. Imagine now if we didn't have to have pesticides which kill people, which cause cancer, and if we could have inexpensive fertilizer. This is the technology that I'm almost going to be focusing my life on, because it will help billions of people and lead to the elimination of hunger and disease and suffering. And it'll make the world a better place. But this is how innovation happens, by experimentation, which is, again, goes back to what you're learning, and luck and chance. So the lesson from what I said was that entire industries are going to be disrupted. Incumbents will be decimated. They're going to become toast, and they're trillion-dollar opportunities. If you can figure out the exponentials and the convergences, you own the future. Now, now stepping back into the world you live in, into business, here's what the problem is, that most of you work for big companies where it's all about process, existing markets, cost benefit analysis, all this nonsense bullshit. Maybe I shouldn't use that word, but that's what I think of the corporate world. Whereas in the world I live in, startups, disruptions, changing the world, this is the world we live in. And guess what? It's David versus Goliath, and David isn't from your industry anymore. So the old methods don't work. Clayton Christensen was a wonderful human being, and his teachings were the Bible for an entire generation of managers. But guess what? Christensen's teachings have become toast, because the disruption doesn't happen from within your industry anymore. The disruptions come from outside. Traditional methods of management and innovation will not help you. Take all those books that you had in your business school, burn them, because they're useless. We need to be doing new methods of innovation and trying different things out. And you know what? Companies are not ready for this. Just because they've succeeded in the past, they believe they'll succeed in the future. They believe that all business methods will spawn new products. They won't. And then they're in divisions and silos. Each division focuses on its own needs. They can't look outside their division. They're battling their own problems. They have all sorts of problems because of this. Employees focus on the problems of their division, not on in new industries. This is why I'm pessimistic about most existing businesses. They're going to become toast. The key here is to disrupt yourself. Satya Nadella, Bjorn's presentation was amazing, because in my book, Incremental to Exponential, I have an entire chapter on culture, Microsoft culture, how it transformed itself. And if you look at the top of the book, Satya Nadella endorsed the book. I'm so grateful to him. He's such a wonderful, incredible, humble human being. He guided me, and he actually endorsed my book. But there are two reading assignments I want to give you. Driving the Driverless Car teaches you the basics of exponential technologies, because there's a lot that I couldn't cover in the last 20 minutes. Everything from AI to quantum computing, the book walks you through them. It walks you through the choices we must make to create the future of Star Trek versus Mad Max, which is possible. Incremental to Exponential, Steve, thanks for saying good things about it, but it's mandatory reading for this crowd. Every one of you should read this book, because it teaches you the secrets of Silicon Valley. It teaches you why companies such as Microsoft have become trillion-dollar companies. It teaches you new methods of innovation, and it teaches you how to survive in this era of exponential technologies.